Welcome to Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, your guide to mastering the realm of real estate in Central East Florida. I am Sir Lancelot Leonard, ready to uncover the secrets of seller strategies, home staging, mortgage mastery, and more. From Daytona Beach to Cocoa Beach, Lake County to St. Augustine, join me as we navigate the intricacies of real estate. As the leader of the Sir Lancelot Group at Florida Homes Realty and Mortgage, I'm here to arm you with knowledge and innovation, whether you're a seasoned homeowner or a first-time buyer, unveiling the kingdom of real estate, one roundtable at a time. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Roundtable, where we bring you the brightest minds in real estate. Today, we have a truly inspiring guest, Hilary Mancuso. As an accomplished realtor with RealtyOne Group, Hilary has been making waves in the competitive Pennsylvania market. Her deep knowledge of local trends, commitment to her clients, and the art balancing a thriving career with a fulfilling life are just a few reasons she's someone you want to learn from. Whether you're new to real estate or a seasoned pro, Hilary's insights will offer invaluable lessons. Let's dive into her journey, the challenges she faced, and the triumphs that have shaped her success. Hilary, welcome to the pod.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, let's start with the beginning of your journey. What was the moment or experience that sparked your passion for real estate? Was there a turning point where you knew this was the right path for you?
I don't think there was a specific turning point. It was something I've always had interest in. I've always enjoyed, going to see properties, which honestly, I know as corny as it sounds, it's one of my favorite things about real estate. I like to tell my buyers or my buyer clients that I turn into a buyer with them. Like when we're looking at a house, I'm sitting there pointing out the things that I think are cool in the house, and I get excited like they do it. I'm going through and, we'll talk about it. I switch off my buyer hat and my agent hat and my, the million other hats that we wear. But that's just one of the things. So I don't know that there's a specific point, but I've just always had an interest in houses and in properties. And I think I tend to thrive on not chaos, but complicated things. Like the more there is for my brain to think about, the more interested I am, the more involved, I'll want to be in something, which is perfect for real estate because it can get complicated and there's a lot of detail involved. So, but yeah, I just over time, eventually one day I kind of made the leap, just made the decision that this is something that I need to get into now and wish I would have gotten into it later. So
I know we had a little pre-conversation before we got on the recording, and you said that you have another full-time job.
I do. I am one of those agents who is not a secret agent. I don't hide the fact that I do real estate or forget to tell people, and I also don't hide the fact that I have another job. So it's like not a secret agent, not a secret dual career realtor as my first brokerage had kind of labeled it. But I do. I work full time in Aldi, the grocery store. It's not in every state out there.
I love Aldi. Oh, my wife's favorite store. Don't kid me. They're building one about 5 minutes from our house right now, and she's like, "I can't wait for it to open up."
I was at one this morning getting groceries, so I'm there constantly. But I work in one of their divisional warehouses here in Pennsylvania. So, and I've been there for twice as long as I've done real estate. Kind of, done a little bit of everything in the warehouse, and I've, always enjoyed working there. So it provides I've not found anything that can replace it in conjunction with real estate. It really allows me to serve my clients real estate wise as if I had no other job, with the exception of I'm sleepy sometimes. So
warehouses, you got to be organized. You got to be really organized in real estate too. So I'm guessing that helps your career in real estate for sure.
It does. It's a nice contrast. So I work on a third shift right now. I've worked on every shift at some point in the warehouse, but I work overnight. So I go in the evening. I go in during hours that people aren't really doing anything in real estate. And if I am awake, like I am not a realtor. I probably should have boundaries a little bit better, like some realtors do. I am a realtor that has no time boundaries. I tell clients if you're awake at 3 a.m. scrolling on Zillow because you can't sleep and you find houses that you want, text me. If I'm awake, I will.
I'm up. I'm working.
Yeah, I mean, I've 1 in the morning, 4 in the morning, whenever I might be up and, I sometimes will write offers or send things. I do real estate. Real estate is all the time.
Well, it's almost a 24-hour business if you look at it in a perspective that we could have clients from across the pond too. And I've worked with people from different countries that are 6-hour, 12-hour difference. And for their night, it's our morning or vice versa. So it's always interesting
Yeah. I mean,
to accommodate
eventually
that.
I'd like to sleep at night like a normal person all the time. But I do that a couple times a week on my evenings off from there. But it really just allows me to have the same flexibility as any other realtor out there. I mean, from 6, 7 in the morning, whenever I'm done, up until 9 p.m., 10 p.m., whenever I'm going in. If somebody needs to, most people aren't seeing houses at 6 in the morning and 9 p.m., but I am available whenever I need to be. I don't need to take off from work to attend an inspection or to have a showing or a closing or anything else. So literally, I have the same availability. I work around things on my calendar, the same as any other realtor does. So
This is awesome. I really admire you for doing that. That is tough. I probably wouldn't be able to do that, but they say
that's
there's 8 hours
yeah.
enough for sleep anyways. So
That's what everybody says. Everybody says, I don't know. I don't think I could do. I think you could do whatever you put your mind to. And with real estate, you get out of it what you put into it. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean? You put out there, like, I give the same type of service that I would like to receive if I was on the other end of it. And I'd only want to work with somebody who did the same thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's
so conquering the Pennsylvania market, constantly evolving, and you become an expert in staying on top of the trends. How do you keep such sharp pulse on the local market conditions, and what shifts do you think are most crucial for homeowners and buyers to be aware of right now?
well, staying on top of things, like I said, I kind of live on naps. I will work around things on my schedule, and I try to go to as many, whether it be networking groups, educational seminars, or continuing education stuff, anything where I can be face to face with other agents or investors or anybody to do with real estate at any point. I'm constantly just trying to keep conversations going. Talking is something that I do excessively, so I put it to good use. As far as staying on top of things go. And then, clients, I don't just stick to a 5-mile radius from my home to, try to maximize my efforts and time. I literally like to say I cover the eastern third of PA. I mean, I don't search for
Oh,
people that are far away, but I'll pretty much drive anywhere for somebody I'm working with. I'm licensed in Pennsylvania, and I'm kind of, even though I'm eastern PA, I'm almost in the center of that. So it kind of works for me a little bit to go south to Philly or north to the Poconos, or I will do what makes sense for the client and make them fully aware of, what. So, in terms of, knowing the market, it's because I kind of try to have my finger on everything and be a little bit of everywhere. But trends and stuff for, homeowners to, or well, prospective homeowners or homeowners to be aware of, just how quickly the market can turn and shift. I mean, it's been a seller's market for like literally the last 5 years. I don't really know a time where it hasn't been a seller's market. And things do, day by day, you see interest rates jump, up or down, and everybody's on one day and off the next day, So just being aware that things can shift quickly. I think you don't get too comfortable with what it's at today and where you think things are going to be. It's I feel like I'm going off on a tangent now.
no, you're good. You're telling me what you do. That's
Yeah.
what the question was about.
Yeah, I mean, it's never I'm someone who likes to be comfortable. I like my clients to be comfortable. But I guess what I'm saying is don't get too comfortable with where you think things are, and that you're gonna, you kind of really do have to check on things day by day and see what's going on.
I mean,
So
what I grasped from what you were saying was that because you go in so many directions, you see so many houses, you show and you list, et cetera, that it's fairly simple to have your finger on the pulse because you have so much information of the market data in your hands from
mhm.
doing all that work. Correct?
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair assumption. I tend to get wordy with just about everything. Simplifying things is not my strongest suit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap it up, so that nicely for a person to like, oh yeah, that's what
Yeah.
she meant.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
So the art
Okay.
of balance. Tell me a little bit about this. I mean, 2 jobs, kid, pets, et cetera. So real estate can be really demanding, and it seems like you have an impressive work-life balance figured out here. What's your
Uh,
secret, and how do you recharge while keeping your business thriving?
Yeah, work-life balance and recharging and all of that you just said. Honestly, part of it is I just wing it. I roll with the punches. I have willful ignorance when it comes to the fact that I'm tired a lot of the times, but also part of it is I think I get a lot of grace from my clients. If there is a moment where I'm very forthcoming and upfront. I like anybody I'm working with to know I work another full-time job. I mean, I've met agents before who look at me like I'm crazy and my head's on backwards when they're like, why would you announce that? Why would you let them know? And I personally, I pride myself in being very prompt and responding to people. I'm like that person that 2 minutes later will text you back, or I'll just be like, I'm busy, I'll call you back. So you get something from me. So if I ever don't respond, I'd like people to know that it's probably because I'm sleeping. And you can still text me, you can still call me, but if I don't answer, that's usually the reason why. I mean, I have to sleep at some point. So, so I'm very forthcoming and upfront with that. And I think that helps a lot. I have clients to all different degrees. Some, like you said, that aren't in state, they're out of state, or I've not personally had anybody out of the country yet, but I work with clients and they work with me. Basically, it's just kind of putting it out there and being upfront and honest with everything. It's honestly the best policy. So I give disclaimers left and right. Like my talking, you already can tell. I do a lot of it. It's automatic. And I like people to I might work with somebody who's a different personality and, is afraid to kind of just cut me off in the conversation, and I welcome it. So, and
Please cut me off if you need to.
just tell me, be like, I just need to know one thing. I set those expectations and the boundaries or lack of boundaries time-wise that I have. I'm very open and honest and upfront with all of that stuff. And I think that's what helps tremendously with being able to balance things, is setting those expectations and clients knowing what I'm trying to jam into a day and that I can do it, and that hopefully they wouldn't be able to tell if I didn't actually tell them. But that's what seems to probably give me the best workflow, I'll say. And in terms of like recharging and stuff, like I have lazy days like anybody else, like other realtors or just consumers. Anybody's got a 9 to 5 job, might take the weekend.
Yeah.
I might literally come home and intermittently sleep all day and, just turn the TV on and try to, if I don't have anything that is, deadlines or important or a client showing houses or offers to get, if there's nothing going on, I will take a lazy day like anybody else. I might come home and from, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. do nothing. I have those. So
That's nice.
you have to kind of make the time, but yeah, it's just a matter of, building in buffers, scheduling things appropriately, and pretending I'm not tired.
Being a super mom, like
yeah.
I mean, the kiddo as well. I mean, it's just crazy. I know. I respect you guys for that. I mean, I'm the one working in the family, and my wife takes care of the kiddos, and I just I'm like I don't know how you do it. We have a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old. I'm like all day long. I'm like, you are basically on call from let's say 6:30 a.m. till 9 p.m. all day long.
Well, and you could look at other realtors that are moms or dads that are the stay-at-home parent, or that you can look at them as they have 2 jobs, because 100% you're right with that. Like when my kids were little, I stayed home for I think 2 years there, and I wanted to pull my hair out. I thought it was worse than going to work. I am not one of those parents that was built to be the stay-at-home parent. So, we always adjusted and did things, and for the first couple of years that I was in real estate, my ex-husband kind of handled the kids while I did both jobs, and he worked and whatnot. And now it's a little different because mine are teenagers. I just have miserable teenagers. Even when they're happy, they're miserable. That's what happens when they become a teenager. So, yeah, I'm a little different of a stage now. I probably wouldn't be able to work it quite the same if I had toddlers at home or, elementary school kids or something. But,
yeah.
You figure it out. It's just one of those things, just like in real estate, nothing is, no 2 transactions are the same, and things pop up out of nowhere and you figure it out. So it's really just kind of rolling with the punches and being able to think through things, or fix problems, solve problems that maybe haven't happened yet, but might. So it's really just a lot of constant thinking and kind of winging it, but preparing at the same time.
Having your crystal ball out and seeing the future, basically.
Trying to, yeah.
Hilary, every hero faces obstacles. In your career, what have been some of the biggest challenges you've encountered, and how did you overcome them to reach the success you have today?
Well, I mean, the two jobs thing definitely challenges
That's
because
definitely
regular
challenges.
life, all that we've been talking about. But I guess yeah, I don't know what I would say is the biggest challenge.
As
I
in,
mean, I
let's say a real estate
just
transaction,
transaction.
or getting to a certain point in your real estate career, like, oh, I finally hit, my first million in sales or first 2 million in sales or something like that. That's what I'm trying to like,
Yeah.
that you overcame that, and then now you can accomplish it anytime because you know how to do it. You
Gotcha.
understand?
And well, I think I mean, there's always, it's probably a never ending list of things that you could put on goals to accomplish with real estate. I mean, as a realtor, you never want your clients to, fix something or pay for something that's not yet theirs. You don't really want them to live in something that's not theirs or have some, no matter which side of the transaction you're on, there's things that it's preferential to avoid. So when you run across stuff like that, then you're a little bit more confident the next time. Well, we don't really want to do this, but might be the only option for a solution. I've had one set of clients that a couple years ago, which by far I still talk to them every year, and they are probably, I'm going to say, my most educational clients ever. This is where we've had conversations about this. They started with a specific budget, and they had some, life and circumstantial changes, brought their budget down, then brought their budget down again. And I don't remember start to finish from when we started looking and when they purchased, how long it had been, but it was quite a while. I think they were the clients that I showed the most amount of homes to, period, ever to one set of clients. And, we experienced going under contract and having it fall apart. And then literally they did the fixing a house that wasn't theirs, living in a house that wasn't theirs. Like, we hit everything that you wouldn't want to do with a transaction. We had to muddle through. So, I mean, I don't know what's the biggest challenge, but you run across challenges, all the time. Some might be looked at as a bigger challenge than others, just dependent upon the client or maybe the amount of money, if it's a financial thing. You know, it's all different ones. I don't know if I can really weigh one against the other, but you definitely come across them all the time. And it's all communication. That's usually, communication is what solves everything. Being aware, communicating with the other party, figuring it out. There's almost always a solution to be had. So
That is a great information that you could give to new realtors, is communicate. Besides picking up your phone, but always talk to your clients. Even if there's nothing to talk about, give them a call and inform them about something
mhm,
that is, relevant to their transaction, because the more times you talk to them, the more common they are, the easier the transaction is going to be
mhm,
down the line, because the more confident they feel about what you're doing for them, and how they feel about themselves as well doing the deal. Because a lot of them get cold feet. Talk a lot about, talking people off the ledge in the transaction, so called, ledge, that they get cold feet. And then it's basically, if you communicate all the time and you give them the right information when it's needed, um, and do that the right way, they just feel more confident about that purchase or sale, and they're happy with the results, no matter pretty much what.
that's exactly it. And like I said, I always keep coming back to the word comfortable. And it's not just about clients. I like to be comfortable. I like them to be comfortable. Who doesn't want to be comfortable? So, and I guess I know there's sayings that work against that. Was that comfort is the I don't know, something against like it's success, like you should get out of your comfort zone. But why? Why do we have to? We can try to be comfortable with knowledge is power, and you can be more comfortable the more knowledge you have. I look at it in different ways, I guess. So really, like I was just going to say, just being accessible to clients and encouraging them to ask questions and look at things that they might not have thought of. I try to play devil's advocate with a lot of stuff, and this way somebody's not making a decision based on one thing, they forget to look at something else. Like, I try to give them the whole picture. I never want a client to come back to me after the fact and be like, Hilary, why did you let me buy that house? Why didn't you stop me? Why did you know what I mean? Like, so they're going to make the choices, and I might, as long as they're comfortable and happy with what they're doing, then,
I mean, I think what you meant about this comfort thing, going back to it for a second, I've heard it a million times too, and I know
mhm. I
exactly
get
what
what
it
you're
means.
saying is,
As a realtor, you should get out of your comfort zone, because that's how you're going to grow.
yeah.
Now, for a buyer or seller, it's getting out of their comfort zone, making an offer, and
Mhm.
going into a new house. That's always getting out. And then you're there to basically help them through that process.
Yeah.
And with communication, ease that growth of their next step in life, I think. And that's what that is, I think, the
Yeah.
conference.
Well, in preparation for things to come, like one of the things that I tell all, well, buyers, sellers, doesn't matter who, waiting is the worst part. Waiting is the worst.
And
Whether
there's so much of that.
if you're waiting to know exactly, there's a lot. So I say it constantly. I'm like, waiting is the worst part. You're gonna feel like you should be doing something and there's nothing to do. I said it's okay to keep checking in. Waiting for your to know if your offer is accepted or not is a horrible feeling. People hate waiting, especially when it's days and days waiting for settlement or waiting after you've done everything you need to do, and you're waiting on mortgage, you're waiting on title, you're waiting on the things you have no control over. It's always the worst part. So even just little stuff like that and preparing them of, you're going to run into this. And, it even that kind of helps to bring it down a little bit. They're like, yeah, you told me it's the worst. And it is.
Yeah.
So,
So, for those just starting in real estate, or
mhm.
even those looking to level up, what's one piece of advice you wish someone had shared with you when you first started out?
You can never ask enough questions. I mean, granted, thankfully for me, I already do that. So I just by default kind of like, oh, it's really good that I ask questions and it kept me on a good path. But if I wasn't the type, um, you can never ask enough questions. Don't just take one answer. Ask more detailed questions. You get an answer, try to see if there's any other answers that could, I try to get as much detail as I can. And that goes for, it doesn't matter if you're working with clients or if you're choosing a brokerage. Like, so every brokerage is just different enough to make you crazy. And there's so many of them out there. And like I said before, I'm not picky, but I'm indecisive just generally. Oh my goodness. When I was choosing a brokerage, like what I came across was, I think I met with about a half dozen different brokerages before I made the choice for who I was going to hang my license with when I first got it. And I remember being in an interview, since it's an interview both ways, it's not like typical other jobs, you're interviewing each other kind of. I remember sitting in a waiting room and hearing discussing with another person, they're like, I just came here because I knew somebody, or I just went there to do, like, a lot of agents don't do enough research, I think, with where they're going to go and who they're comfortable with, which is probably one of the reasons that so many agents switch brokerages so often. They're all just different enough, but there's good and there's bad everywhere. So asking questions is how you're going to figure out what those things are. I've switched brokerages myself twice, and hopefully I'm at the place I'm going to be for a long, long time now, because I've asked more questions each time that I've switched. But whether
And
it's that,
and you also get more experience too.
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
like the first brokerage where you start might not be the right fit for you once you have the experience.
Yeah.
Because then like I started with Keller. Okay. And Keller is one of the best coaching training brokerages out there. And they had a great training program, but my split was 50-50. And I was like, once I had the information, the knowledge, and 10 deals behind me, I was like, I don't think, they were giving me better, like 60-40. And I'm like, I don't think that's my cup of tea anymore, because I know what I'm doing. Let's go to a brokerage that will give me an 80-20, but I can learn something new from them. And that was a new construction a brokerage that sold a lot of new construction homes. So I learned a lot about the high rises and how to sell new construction. And then from there, I went to 100% brokerage. And since then, I've joined a couple more 100% brokerages until I found where I need to be. But I'm like, I could do pretty much, I could train agents now. So I don't need that part anymore. I'm at the point where, hey, this is the right brokerage because I can maximize my income, which then I can turn back into my company or business to generate more business out of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm very big on gut feeling for things. Like I might use your intuition. So if you feel like to just feel like it's the right fit, whether you're choosing the brokerage or when I talk with clients or prospective clients, I mean, anybody I come across, is my best advice, whether you're looking to use me as an agent or not, or you're just asking for something else. It doesn't matter if it's your agent, if it's your insurance person, your lender, the title company. I know a lot of agents out there, when you're giving recommendations, or you're kind of nobody's supposed to direct or steer, but they might just say, oh, well, I have an in-house title company. And there's certain things that might just kind of be more automatic because the client doesn't know and they don't necessarily have a care. I give out 2 to 3 recommendations for every single, like, I don't push towards anybody. And that's even for like title companies. And that's something that I've noticed. I can't say that blanketly anybody does one particular thing. And, we're all supposed to kind of have that, I guess, aim. But that is something that I advise everybody is ask questions, and then go with, who do you feel comfortable with? Who do you feel is going to have, what conversation did you have with, X, Y, and Z that, who answered your questions? Who made you feel like they're going to work for you in the manner that you need? Because everybody needs something a little bit different,
Yeah. That's a great advice for agents to take their time and choose wisely which direction they want to go with and what their real needs are in the brokerage. Some people just want to sell one house a year. Want to sell one house a year, you're not going to go to a brokerage where they're pumping you with team. Let's build a team and let's do this and let's do that. You're going to go to a boutique brokerage maybe where they're okay with you selling one house a year, whatever. But yeah, exactly what you said. So what's next for you, Hilary? Are you continuing to grow your career? What are your long-term goals or dreams for the future? Tell me a little about that.
Well, eventually real estate will be the only thing. And like I said, I will sleep like a normal person again one day.
I don't think so, but yeah, sure. Let's say that.
I talk in analogies for a lot of things. That's how I explain things to client. I feel like if I can kind of dumb it down to a level, I can explain it to your elementary school kid, then, I can explain it to the point where most people can understand. So real estate itself, I liken to, it's like the little engine that could getting up the first hill. It's a coal-fired engine. You get the fire going. It's real slow. You got a huge hill at first. Like that's how real estate, you have to get the momentum, and it takes a little. You get out of it what you put into it. So I've been in it 5 years now, and every agent has a different start to it. Some start with another job, some jump into it full time and just hit the ground running. Maybe they jumped on a running train, joined the team, did something. Yeah. Everybody's got a different path with it. So for me, I kind of got over that first hill. I've gone back and forth. I'm doing it full time during, I was working 10 to 12-hour days at the warehouse the year when COVID hit with everything. Yeah. And my first listing, I did a Zoom open house with my seller in her house and me in my basement and hosting it with people that, like, I went from this weird, only knowing this weird, crazy time, not attending, transactions, and it was drive up settlements and stuff, to, it's definitely a different market now. We're back to, I guess there is no normal market, but you have to kind of go with it. So the train speeds up and slows down, but eventually, I'm going off on tangents again. This is what I do. Anybody who works with me is kind of used to this. So as a client, if you're okay with the chit chat, this is what you get. But no, eventually I will kick the warehouse to the curb again and sleep like a normal person. But like I said, right now, currently, I prefer to be sleepy rather than stressed. I never want to be that agent that is wondering, where is the next transaction, that I'm looking more for the next transaction than I am at what am I doing with this client? I would love for my business to be, I don't need to be the top producing agent in the area or have everybody know my name, but I would like to have a consistent flow of business that is all from referrals and all from, that would be the goal for me to,
minimize marketing, maximize referral business.
Yeah. No, and that's the best thing. I've been in 5 years, and I've had clients who have been repeat clients with 3 and 4 different things. And I've had where, I've worked with a family and everybody in the family has done something with me. And, repeat clients that clients that have recommended friends or family to come. So, when you start to get those things, it's a really nice feeling that you're doing a good job. People wouldn't be recommending you out or coming back to you if you weren't doing a good job. So my goal is really to just have my business, again, get the train moving again to a speed where it's sustaining on its own, and I don't feel the need to have the other job. But I have, as a realtor, paychecks are inconsistent, or can be a lot of the times, and you don't have benefits and you don't have, 401ks and other things. So that's honestly why I keep the second job around, is because it provides all those things, and I never have to, I could get a couple paychecks from real estate one month. I could go a couple months without them, and it doesn't stress me out anymore. So I keep it around until I'm at a point where where I've decided that I don't need, I'll probably keep it around way longer than I need to. That's just me. When I was switching brokerages and having conversations with a lot of different office managers, brokers and stuff a couple years ago, one of them had pointed out to me, taken literally listen to me yap on for like an hour, and pointed out to me, he's like, do you realize how much of your life you've held 2 jobs simultaneously? And I had never thought about it. And I'm like, oh crap, that's a lot. So it's just, like I said, it's just kind of me. I'll probably keep it longer, but that's the goal, is real estate eventually will be the only thing. And, why a lot of agents join, get their license and join in real estate, is because you want to have that flexibility and you want to have a little more freedom in, your life, and be able to do things kind of how you want, when you want. So for me, that's kind of the ultimate goal.
Is a team in there in the view, or a brokerage maybe, or something like that, or that's like really, really far, if anything.
Probably really, really far, if anything. I don't know that I would want to have my own brokerage. I kind of just like being an individual agent, and I've never really had an enticement to be on a team. There are a handful of agents that I come across that are on a very short list of, if I was ever to go on a team, there's a few select
Yeah.
ones that I would consider,
I,
but
I, I was thinking about more you starting a team.
start. I mean, maybe
And
I.
the reason why I'm asking this, there's a reason behind this, because of the new NAR law change and new agents coming into the business. I think
Yeah,
they're going to have a really tough time getting any kind of business compared to if you're interviewing agents, like you're interviewing for listings. A
yeah,
new agent has a 10% chance compared to a guy that has his signs up all over the neighborhood, correct? So the
yeah.
same thing I think for buyers agents, and listing agents, is if you join a team, you're going to have a chance of getting the knowledge and the experience and everything.
Hmm.
And agents like you and me who have experience and have years in the business,
Yeah.
the way we can help new agents that come in is starting a team and then having them join our teams, and then growing them with us. And then, eventually most agents leave their teams and start their own little thing. But
Hmm.
I'm just saying that that's something I've been noticing since the NAR change has came to existence.
I I I guess I would consider it's not out of the question that I could start a team, but it's never really been my thing. I prefer to have agents that I can unofficially partner with. I
Okay.
prefer to find like-minded agents. But I'm all for mentoring. If I have a friend or a client or somebody who has interest and wants to get into real estate, like, I have no issue saying, listen, ask me all the questions, pick my brain, let's go to lunch, let's do a thing. And if you need something, come to me. I'm not your broker. I don't want to be responsible for you necessarily. Like, I'm kind of in that, like, I will gladly help anybody with anything. If we're at the same brokerage and we can do something, absolutely. I will mentor. Like, I think I'm more in that realm of, I'm happy being responsible for myself. And I'm always happy to help, but I don't know if I want to be responsible for a team
Uh,
personally,
I mean, the way you put this is eye opening in a way,
Mhm.
because what you said is that, hey, I could definitely help, et cetera, et cetera. That's basically the same thing, almost close to it, that having a team, except for having like rules and regs put into place.
Yeah.
But you're like, hey, let's partner up on this deal. You have a deal, you need help. I'll guide you on this deal, but let's partner up on it. And they bring the deal to you. That way you can help them with the deal. You get a 20, 30%, because that's how they did it, Keller, in the beginning. It's like, hey, partner up with this agent. This agent's a seasoned agent. He'll help you and guide you through the deal, but you got to give him a cut, from the deal, or something like that.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. The brokerage that I first started with had a similar thing, and I did have an agent who was paired up with me, and I kind of felt like I was like, well, did you want this? I'm like, did you want to? Because I didn't necessarily want that, but I sought out my own mentorship. I found other agents that I felt were like-minded, and that when I asked a question, I actually got beneficial information back. And so, like I said, for me, that's just my personality. I ask a lot of questions. I'm extremely extroverted. I'll go up and talk to anybody that I see. It doesn't matter who they are. I don't have to know them. I'll go up and start talking to people. So, for me, I don't have a problem with that. But for agents, or just for people who just aren't quite as in that ballpark as I am, I might be a little reserved or a little hesitant. Um, I never want somebody to be locked into something else. Like, I will gladly help, and it can be just like the golden rule in real estate, right? Everything is negotiable.
Yeah, correct.
So anybody who, like, I'm always happy to help, and I'm always happy to guide, or, like, like I said, if I had a client who was like, oh my God, I just love that you love what you do and I want to do it too now. Like, I've anybody said specifically that, but I've had people with the interest of getting into it. And, like, if they wanted to be on a team, if they wanted to I want things to be their choice. I don't want to have I don't, I'm not against teams and they all work great and stuff. I'm not usually typical in any regard. So I kind of, that's, I guess it's
Hey, look,
typical of
if
me
they
that
want
I
to,
would have an answer like this, but
it's just sometimes, people are so scared to ask the questions. As you
Mhm.
said, you like to ask questions. That's what you're like.
Yeah.
You're like really front forward with that. But a lot of agents wouldn't ask you like, hey, would you want to team up with me? Because they're just scared to do that, and it's just putting it out there a little bit, just, for them to see that, hey, I'm open, I'm ready to mentor. I'm ready. I'm here. I can help you guys, just come to me and ask me, just something to think about maybe.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it
no,
is.
I'd never say never. I can't say that my stance wouldn't change or I wouldn't decide, okay, maybe that is the better route for me. But I've gone with I have a very good friend who's an agent. We both started at the same brokerage. We're no longer at the same brokerage. And her and I still, even though we don't, if she needs a house shown, she'll call me. There's no, like, I have zero issues. I trust her completely. If I need a house shown, she'll go show one for my client. We don't, nothing for it. Just literally, I'll take a time out of my day. She'll take time out of her day. So I love to find agents that I can rely on in that manner. And I love to be an agent that somebody else can rely on in that manner. So,
That's awesome. Yeah. I have one of those too. My old mentor from
Mhm.
Keller, we still worked. I sent her pretty much all my referrals to Miami from where we are. And she's amazing. She always takes care of my clients. And she was the one that, taught me the ropes in the beginning. So it's pretty cool. Like we're still, after we known each other for 9 years now. So we're still do business together, and we talk almost every month, a couple times. It's crazy. It's pretty cool,
Yeah, it is really nice when you find folks like that, because not every agent is like that. I mean, and there are ones out there that, just like they say, like there's, only takes one to kind of give everybody a bad name a little bit, doing things the wrong way. Somebody who doesn't pick up their phone. It only takes having a bad experience with one to kind of make you think a lot of them are like that. And there's good ones out there too. So it's nice to come across, again, ones that are like-minded and do the things that you would do for your clients. So
correct. So it's time for a plug. Hilary, you got any thing you would like to share, as in social media or promotions that you would like to put out there for the peeps?
I'm horrible with that stuff, to be honest. That's where I could improve as an agent. Much is social media and just marketing myself. And, I talk a lot and don't let people that are near me forget that I'm in real estate. But I do have, I've got Facebook, I've got Instagram, I've got TikTok, I've got it set up for all of them, but I honestly don't do much with them and I'm horrible with it. So I was gonna say, I did just put on Instagram the other day, I'm having an open house on Sunday at my listing in Bethlehem. If anybody has any buyers.
I think that's going to be, you're going to be posted next week. So that might be a little, but check out your Instagram. If you're going to be posting your open houses, etc. Hilary Mancuso Real Estate on Instagram. You can find her and search for her upcoming open houses or anything else that she will start posting for you guys.
I am going to try to be much better at it, but I will just say, for anybody out there, if anybody actually wants to hear me talk more or anything else that they need, texting is almost always the best method of communication for me. That's my preference. It polices my talking, but also expect to get more in a text than should ever be there, because I use voice to text. But texting, you will get the most reply.
You'll have all her social media handles and everything down underneath in the description. Hilary, thank you again for being on the show, and I hope to see you again.
Thank you so much, Lance.
Thank you for joining us on Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, where we've unveiled the mysteries of real estate together. Remember, in this kingdom of possibilities, every dream home is just a discussion away. I can help your real estate dreams come true. Just call me at 786-449-7518. Until our next roundtable, may your ventures be prosperous and your homes be filled with love and joy. Farewell, fellow knights of real estate.